I think people who see a lot in their life live a sad life. Or, if not sad, they just live a quiet life. And that's okay, I guess. Vincent Van Gogh. He was someone who I speak to really, I think. When you don't have a lot of people to talk to, you just have these ghosts of these poets and these writers and painters and I don't know. And they just keep you company. They bring you that satisfaction in your alone life. Their art pieces, their work, Kafka's work, they bring you some sort of solace in your life. And you find that company to be much better than of people around you or people that you've known so far in your life. But I still say it's a feeling of a victory, a glory if you have someone to share your life with. I think that's one of the best feelings in the world. If you can share things with people. The human brain does not allow happiness to stay for a long period of time, but it's the opposite with sadness. Sadness has the power to stay for long as the body and the mind and the heart is alive. Sadness doesn't leave you. Pain does never leave you. There's always a haunting reminder of the pain and suffering that we've experienced. But happiness is always trivial. It's forgotten. It's just a moment. It's just a Hi friends. My name is Shreyash Pratap Singh Rawat, and I'm from the north of India. This is not a cry for help. Neither am I trying to preach you about certain things that I have experienced, that I think are of importance for the men that we are. For the past couple of months, I've lived in a quiet state, in a place where I had not many to discuss the things I have been experiencing. When you live in silence for a considerable amount of time, you tend to see the world differently and the world sees you differently. That is when you come out of that silence. And your observations and the way you notice things, it becomes tremendously different than it was before. Your vision is that as though it extends its boundaries to a whole different level. And you know not what to do with this perspective that you have, apart from sharing it. It's as though when you're happy, what happiness does is it makes you want to share it. That's what's been happening in social media. You buy a new car, you want to share it with the people that you love, or with people in general. You buy things, you want to share it. It's not just show off of wealth, but it's also that you're happy. Most of these people that are buying cars, you might see them buying other things, buying new things. That's because they're doing something that they're happy about. And happiness has this miraculous effect in the brain and heart and the body that it allows you to want more, to do more. And I think happiness should be a perpetual, should be a long state in the mind that makes people do things, to do things that, to do more, to do things that they couldn't have imagined. And that's what happens when this drug of happiness is in your head. You start to think of doing things that you could have never even thought of. Yeah. I think everyone should experience happiness once in their life or as many times as possible. But the truth about happiness is it doesn't last long, and the human brain has only a certain limit that it can. The human brain does not allow happiness to stay for a long period of time, but it's the opposite with sadness. Sadness has the power to stay for long as the body and the mind and the heart is alive. Sadness doesn't leave you. Pain does never leave you. There's always a haunting reminder of the pain and suffering that we've experienced. But happiness is always trivial, it's forgotten, it's just a moment. It's like rain. If any one of you have been following my journey, I started from a state of helplessness, a failed actor that I am. I'm glad, and I gladly announce that I found work. I'm employed again. I'm going to be working as a content strategist, a content writer for a company, for a corporate company. And I believe the work that I'm going to do is going to amount to something. It would give me some sort of satisfaction in my life. And beyond that, I don't think if I've expected anything more. All I've wanted since I was unemployed, that I could find work again and just put my mind to some sort of work. But I know very well that I don't fit in the corporate space. And that idea is not just an idea, I've seen it in practice. For creative people, for artists, it's so hard to actually do what they really want to do. To find a voice, to find a way, to find a passage. Half the life is spent on making something worth it, that the mind would say, yes, I did it. For the first time in my life, after so many trials and failures and this turmoil that we live with. If the heart and mind allows for that satisfaction to be there, I think in itself that is a win. But the way the world is, but the way art, but the way creativity is valued, the commercial value of it, the way a trend maker is treated, rather than Rather than praising people who want to break the trend, who want to do something authentic and real for the first time in a while, I guess, people celebrate people who follow trends, who are a part of a trend, who do cool video edits. Where the mind doesn't have to really focus and devote in learning. Rather, people want something that's easy to be understood and pleasing to the eye. The discomfort that some men live in, this quiet desperation that we have inside of us, sometimes the world is so harsh that we want to give up, that we want to quit, that we want to end it. There are good people. There are bad people. There are people that don't know what's good and bad. There are all sorts of people in this world. We don't decide who we want to be. We become something. Either the product of the environment, or the environment becomes our product. Now, I had these revolutionary ideas that I'm going to make this environment so pure, so utopic, so brilliant that people who deserved opportunities in this world will have it. People who work hard, people who truly devote their lives in mastering a craft, get the chance to showcase it to the world and, of course, get a healthy remuneration for it. But the world doesn't work that way. The reality is, you need to speak the language of the world. You need to live in public meaning. You need to know what's being accepted as truth, even though that not might be true. You know, I think people who see a lot in their life live a sad life. Or, if not sad, they just live a quiet life. And that's okay, I guess. That's alright. But it's not the failures or the bad people that should be talked about. It should be people who give you inspiration, who have the capacity to bring that drive in you. For example, Van Gogh, Vincent Van Gogh. He was someone who I speak to, really, I think. You know, when you don't have a lot of people to talk to, you just have these ghosts of these poets and these writers and painters and I don't know. And they just keep you company. They bring you that satisfaction in your alone life. Their art pieces, their work, Kafka's work, they bring you some sort of solace in your life. And you find that company to be much better than of people around you or people that you've known so far in your life. But I still say it's a feeling of a victory, a glory, if you have someone to share your life with. I think that's one of the best feelings in the world. If you can share things with people. Couldn't ask for more, if that's the case. And if you're living in a state where you don't have, you're deprived of, luck's not on your side, God's not on your side, if that's the case, I think you gotta make your way, you gotta amend, you have to pray. And I don't mean you need to go to a church or a temple or a mosque to go do that. There is a higher consciousness, and I have felt it. And I know that there is something out there. Don't know if it's a man or a woman or whatever you want to call it, but there's something out there. And if you can talk, if you can hear it, it indicates, it tells you, it speaks to you. Not in whispers, it's so loud. And not just loud, I think it's there. It's always there. You just gotta listen to it. Now, I had lived as I've done things that my parents wouldn't be proud of. I've been an alcoholic, a smoker, all that sort of a thing. And my health, it just got deteriorated. My immune system, it became terrible. And then it's when I was at my lowest when I heard it, and I've been hearing it since, and it asked me to quit it all. I quit it, and I did it again. Quit it, and did it again. Quit it, and did it again. Until I could no longer. Just give me one sec. Yeah. Okay, so, yeah. Until I could no longer, like I was saying, until I could no longer. And I realized that my body was telling me I couldn't take it anymore, and that I should not indulge in it anymore. And so I decided to quit. And the voice got clearer and clearer, and the clarity of it. It's like you start to see things with its eye. You can control your emotions and anger, your sadness. It's just because it's all growing inside you. The tricks of the mind, And if you can somehow control it, life becomes a whole different game. It's as though that you got a remote control, and now you have the ability to control things that are around you or things that are going to happen. And you start to feel lucky. And that's a good feeling. You see so many opportunities and potential with whatever is around you. And I do certainly believe that the capacity of our brain it's a there's a miraculous capacity in our head, in this part, that allows for wonder to exist, and you can't create that wonder if God's be willing and you've got the will to do it. I say that if God's on your side, everything is possible. And I know that we're living in an age where with a growing assumption, the growing evidence, with all the evidences that we have, it seems like God, with all its goodness, never existed. Neil deGrasse Tyson gave a great example, that there were some hundreds of thousands of people praying in a church, and then a tsunami came and they all drowned. So he says that if a God was all good and also powerful, why would he let that happen? And that question, it's been I fight with that question every single day. But then I see if I exist here, and if I have a soul, like a soul, perhaps it travels to some other place. My energy, the law of thermodynamics says, energy can't be created nor be destroyed. It can only be transformed or transferred. So what it indicates me is that energy still remains. And if my energy still remains, the chances, what is that energy, and is that consciousness? Does my consciousness travel to another space, dimension, or to a tree? I don't know. Where does it go? When I look up, it's just a blank canvas with all the stars that's glittering and, but I see an empty space up there with an infinite amount of possibilities that exist beyond, the reach of the eye. If I'm here once, I can be here again. And that's what and I think I'll be here again if I want to be here really, truly, and I deserve to be here, or if I contribute my life to some good thing, if I don't hurt things that are around me, if I can take care of it, just like a farmer, if I can preserve things, if I can help nature, if I can listen to nature, I think I will be here again, if that's the case. But this is just theory. It's not it's not. It's just a dream, I think. Yeah. I say to you, that, like my mother says, every day is a different day. Just crawl to the next day. Fight it through, If it's so hard for you to, I don't know, life is hard, but there is a good side to it as well, Just if you can feed yourself, I think that alone can be more than enough. If you don't go by the trend, if you don't see that the meaningless shit that's out there that makes you believe that you have nothing in this world, when you start comparing yourself, comparing the amount of money you have with somebody else's, I think that's when you start to lose. And that's when you're poor, actually. But if you can eat in a day, if your body is functioning, I think that's more than enough. That's more than enough. You just gotta pick yourself up, and then sometimes you gotta do things that you hate so that you can make a living. Or if not hate, you know that it's not something that you want to do, but you still have to do it, so that one day you could do the things that you actually love. That when the time comes, people will realize what they've been missing out on, what they truly want. I think everyone in this life, people may be lost, but everyone's got a purpose, and they make it on their own, and they have an instinct about it, they have a feeling about it, that they've got a purpose in this life. And if they can act on that, if they can function on that, I think with a good intent and a good heart, I think miracles can be achieved. I think life could be so much better, and we can make life so much better for people. We truly can, with a good heart, with no business, with of course with money, with the power. If the power truly resides in the hands of people who have the ability to preserve things, to take care of nature, to take care of themselves, to eat healthy food, to manufacture healthy food, that's a win. And that's the world I want to live in. The world of love, the world of passion, the world where we create things, the world of opportunities, the world of God. I'll see you in the next video.